what is this about? What is event about?
Like rescue, rehab, and release, just to raise money because we're a non-profit.
Okay.
So we get all our funding from donations.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why we're doing this one.
All right. How we heard about this? These birds, mainly it's birds, and are they rescued, treated, healed, and released back to the wild,
Yep.
or what's happening?
That's what we do here.
All right.
We get called from public and we bring in birds, and we have all our cages in the back to make sure they can hunt and fly before we release them.
All right. Are they usually sick or beaten, or what happened? How do you catch them and why?
They're caught. Usually it can be a wing injury, so they're running along the ground. And we have nets to catch them and stuff like that. Or they can be so injured that you can just pick them up and people bring them in. Hit by cars.
Often happens you find those birds
Injured or
injured.
orphaned?
Yes.
We've had as many as 10 in one day.
Really?
And we've had as little as 0 in a day. And in 1 week it can vary. Again, in 1 week you could go from 1 to 20. It varies day to day to day, month to month to month.
So it's a significant amount around.
It can be. There's usually spring and winter are our two busiest seasons. Spring being orphans and fighting, and then the fall and winter is poisons, lead and rodenticide as well.
Poisons from
Lead shot, lead bullet fragments, poisoning eagles, as well as starvation and fighting, because of course in the winter and the fall food supply is limited.
Right.
So they have no choice but to fight.
How would you comment this unusual February? It was very cold here in Vancouver.
Yeah, it hasn't seemed to affected the birds at all. They're pretty well laying eggs and everything on time, so it didn't have a detrimental effect to the the birds' sort of nesting cycle here in the Lower Mainland or Fraser Valley. So it didn't provide a lot of environmental impact from that standpoint. A few years ago in the winter, we did have a large amount of cull, but that's not only because of the cold, but the snow, very crusty snow.
All right. Do all birds survive in your care, or sometimes it happens they die?
Unfortunately, all the birds we see through the door are here for a second chance. There's birds that come in that we know don't have a chance, and unfortunately they have to be euthanized. Some do die. Basically, we're just giving them a chance, and unfortunately,
Not all of them.
not all of them can make it. We wish it is in a perfect world, but we always look at the positive in the fact the animal's not suffering out there, trying to survive or getting scavenged or slowly killed by something else. Here, they're comfortable. They can be humanely euthanized.
Say if you pick up the old bird and it doesn't survive, comparing to young bird and it doesn't survive.
That varies. Some of the older birds have the fight in them that they can go. But we do find with the younger birds, the adaptability is far greater than the older birds with wing injuries or stuff like that.
Right. Okay. Thank you. It's very interesting to be around.
Некоторые животные никогда не смогут на волю. Их надо просто сделать. Это же логично. То есть есть такие...
So she'll look after them and kind of show them how to be a bird rather than human influences. Usually we don't. Once they get beyond a certain stage, it's usually safe. I think it's like right around when they start opening their eyes. That's the first time to go.
People have left rat or mouse poison out to try and get rid of rats or mice, and those rats and mice, they eat the poison, they leave kind of where the poison is. They start wandering around, they get sicker. Sometimes they can be wandering around for up to a week, and then one of our raptors will pick them off and eat them, and then they get poisoned as well, which we call secondary poisoning. But another thing we've also seen, and we've definitely seen this in golden eagles as well, is lead poisoning. How did this eagle get sick? Oh, he didn't get sick, he got hurt. He got hit by a car. Yeah. Was there a question over here as well? Oh, you want me to stand back? Am I getting in the way of the pictures? And here I thought I was the center of attention. It's okay, I'll hide back here.
Yeah! Oh, nice one! You flew into the net. Good job.
Oh my goodness. I got the highways now.
Yes.
Chill like an average watching for them.
Right, good,
And when I find a banded bird, they bring me the band, and I send the certificate away. Yeah.
What is the program Adopt an Egg?
Adopt an egg?
How does it work?
Oh, okay. So the northern spotted owl is Canada's most endangered bird.
Okay.
So we have a breeding program with 20 adults in the program, and they have they've hatched 3 chicks. So Adopt an Egg is just fundraising to help us because they need to be monitored around the clock, so 24 hours a day. They're in an incubator until they hatch, and then we introduce the chick back to the parents. So Adopt an Egg just kind of helps fund the biologists to be monitoring the eggs, especially at this time of year when it's quite expensive for the program. Right. Yeah, so you basically just get a little plastic egg. We had gift bags and some stickers and things in them earlier, but they sold out.
So it's not actually
it's not a real,
an egg.
No, we don't give you an egg, unfortunately.
Right.
A lot of kids were disappointed today by that. But the rest
It's
of the
just
year,
funding the program.
It funds the program.
Right,
And the rest of the
okay.
year we have certificates, so you can choose one of the owls at the center.
How often they die here on the table?
Well, how often? It varies. Like last year we had about 680 birds come in, and of that 680, about 150 of them were dead on arrival. We still have to record them. We then put them in their freezer, and then the conservation office comes around approximately every quarter and cleans out our freezer. Some of the birds go off to First Nations people for ceremonial reasons. Some birds go to UBC, SFU for education and for necropsy.
Okay.
We were heavily regulated by the government.
Right. Okay.
So they
Does government help your organization?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Only by donation?
All done.
Identify them by age and sex.
of cooked onions, eh?